Hi everybody. Today's video we're going to talk about scales, keys, and transposing melodies and chords in a song. A scale is a series of consecutive tones or notes, usually ascending and then descending, kind of like this ladder, which is what the word scale means in Latin. There are several types of scales, but we will only be discussing the major scale, which has a certain formula and it consists of 7 notes or tones. Before we can build the scale, we have to understand intervals or distances between the keys on your piano. For now, we use half steps and whole steps. Half steps, which you will see as an H, represents the distance or movement between 2 consecutive keys, while whole steps, which is referred to by a W, is the distance or movement between 3 consecutive keys. So that being said, moving from a C to a C sharp is a half step, and so are all the following: C sharp to D, E to F, F to F sharp, B flat to B, B to C. And then whole steps would be the movement between 3. So that means C to D is a whole step, C sharp to D sharp is a whole step, D sharp to F natural is a whole step, and B flat to C natural is a whole step. The formula for building a major scale is 2 whole steps, then a half step, then 3 whole steps, and then a half step. When we're building a major scale, we need to decide what is going to be the starting point. This is going to be the note, and then the first chord is going to become the home or focus of the melody or chord progression. So we've decided we're going to build a C major scale. First note is going to, or the tonic is going to be the C. So again, it'll be C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Notice the way it works with that formula. Like the first note is going to be a whole step from C to D, then again from D to E, then a half step from E to F, then 3 whole steps, F to G, G to A to B, and then the last half step from B to C, and then the scale would start all over again. Notice that it's all white keys, so that means there's no sharps or flats, there's no black keys in the key of C. So now if we're going to be playing the key of C, we're going to assume that this tone or note or chord is going to be the focus. We're going to use the notes in the C major scale to create chords which facilitate the melodies and harmonies. We can use Roman numerals to number the notes, which are assigned the 3 major minor chords in that key. So in the key of C, our 1, 4, and 5 chords are going to be major chords, and you notice those are uppercase, lowercase are going to be the 3 minor chords in the key of C. D minor, E minor, and A minor. The B diminished is the 7 chord. It's not used very much, and we're not going to really discuss it at this point. This numbering system is called the Nashville Numbering System, which we have already discussed in other videos. And this is going to really be the key to how we transpose. So if you notice, we already know the 3 major and minor chords in the key of C. And we played them all in a song already. When I played Twist and Shout a few videos back, I played in the key of C using the C major, F major, and G major or G7 chords. And it's important to recognize that basically that song is what I would call a 1, 4, 5 progression, and not just think of it as C, F, G chord progression. So the problem with singing that song in the key of C was that the melody notes were pretty high, pretty much out of my vocal range. So the first note was right here as an F. That was the F, 2 F's above middle C. Here's middle C, there's an F right there. So it was, "We'll shake it up, baby, now." That's geared more towards higher tenor and soprano voices. So in the video after that, I played the same song in a different key, the key of G, and this resulted in lower sounding notes, which were in my vocal range. To play the chords in the key of G, I had to transpose it. This means I had to consistently lower all the chords and notes to a different pitch. So to do this, I have to know what the G major scale is and the chords in that key. By using the major scale formula and starting on a G note this time, this is what the scale looks like. Notice we have one sharp, the F sharp this time. So notice when we make up that G scale, we use that same formula. We're going to need two whole steps. So G to A, that's a whole step. A to B is a whole step. Then we get a half step, B to C. Then C to D is a whole step. D to E is a whole step. E, this time we can't go to F, we have to go to F sharp to get the whole step. That was our third whole step. And then our half step, F sharp to G. After I figured out the scale, I could assign Roman numerals to it and the chords. So the major chords, the 1, 4, 5 chords, are going to be G major, C major, and the D major. The minor chords, the 2, 3, or 6, is going to be A minor, B minor, and E minor. Notice that we don't know every chord yet. We don't know that B minor, but that'll be coming shortly. So this time when I play in the key of G, my starting note dropped to a C. The C above middle C, this sounds like it's more in my vocal range now. Well, shake it up, baby, now. So I had to lower all the notes evenly. Also, I had to change my chord progression. When I played before in the key of C, I was playing C, F, to a G or G7. So now when I play in the key of G, my new one chord is the G. Remember thinking 1, 4, 5. C, F, G was 1, 4, 5 in the key of C. In the key of G, my 1, 4, 5 is going to be G for the 1, C for the 4, and the 5 is going to be a D or D7. So transposing the melody and chords into a different key can help you sing more in your vocal range and also use the chords that you know. So think of it this way, you know the 1, 4, 5 and the 2, 3, and 6 chords in the key of C. In the key of G, you know the 1, 4, and 5 chords, which are the G, C, and D, and you know the 2 and the 6 minor chords. So you know all the chords in the key of C, but sometimes the melody might be out of your vocal range. It may be too high, it may be too low. If so, try another key, such as G, since you know most of those chords. So a long time ago, I showed you how to play Let It Be in the key of C. That was the original key that the Beatles used. And the only problem with that is that got really high in pitch. That was our starting note. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words. Got up to an F, which is kind of a high note. On the chorus, it got even higher, went up to that A note. So in the future, I'm going to be transposing that to the key of G. So it'll be lower pitch. So it'll be, when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me. So the highest note there went up to a C. So that's why a lot of times you want to know how to transpose and find the key that's easier for you or your singer to sing it in. So this is a very difficult concept to learn and master, things like scales and keys and transposing. You're not going to know it all in a couple hours. You know, this is going to take years of experience. So be very patient, keep working on all this. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.